Welcome back to the Crypto Factor. Today we're talking to CTO Larson. Very excited. CTO, welcome to the channel, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
I'm very happy to be here. So greetings everyone from Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden. I've specifically brought the cap because you have actually lived in Sweden, in Stockholm.
Yes, I have. In Liljeholmen, and I was going down to Stockholm back in the days where there was Spanish clubs and roulette and blackjack everywhere. Or maybe not roulette, but blackjack and different gambling games. I remember losing all my money there when I got there.
Exactly. Now we can lose all our money on crypto instead. Comfortably everywhere.
Pretty much, yes. So today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about the Larson line and charts. We have so much to talk about. I'm really excited about this because I'm actually a viewer of your channel, and I'm even going to admit that I sometimes check my technical analysis with your videos with the Larson line to see if I'm being biased or if I'm off track. And they have been on point.
Yeah, I watched a lot of your videos, also very high quality, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here. There's a lot of how should I say, garbage on the internet about crypto, and yeah, not so many high quality channels. So really happy to be here.
Thank you, appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can cover any topic if you like, but many times people find it interesting with the technology perspective, and then of course the technical analysis.
Exactly.
Trading part of it.
But just for our audience here, just for the people that don't know you, which shouldn't be too many, what exactly do you do? What's the CTO Larson? Why the name? And where were you before? I believe you were in Ericsson.
That's right. So this is my second half of the game, second career. I was in corporate, in telecom for 20 years. So I actually played a key role in creating the mobile technology, like 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, the mobile data. And that's arguably the biggest technology of all time. So it's crazy, but yeah, it's actually true. And then I came to a point where I felt that I've done everything here. There's nothing more that I desire to do. I've already had like my dream job. I've taken part of this whole journey. And what should I do now? What should I do the next 20, 30 years? Should I do like 6G, a little bit faster? Is that what's left for me? And I felt that I can't do it. So I left the whole industry, and people thought I had, gotten mental problems. People called and asked if I'm all right and so on. And no, I was happier than ever. I just felt done. And I wasn't sure what the next technology was. First, I thought maybe it's VR, AR, and I kind of started with that. And then I, like many others, I stumbled in or I fell into crypto. And then I realized that, my God, it's blockchain, which is the next main revolution, the next main technology revolution. And I got completely absorbed in that. And now that's my life. I read about this, I study, I invest, I have a YouTube channel, I meet a lot of people, and yeah, I'm super excited because I feel that we're still actually in the beginning of the next major technology revolution. Many people feel that we've come very far, but seeing this in contrast, because one unique perspective I have is that I can relate this very much to the technology journey we did with telecom, with the mobile phone, the mobile data. And I see it so clearly. We're just in the beginning. We're at the point where, mobile phones was like a bag that you had to carry around like this because it was so heavy with a battery and everything. And it was too expensive. It was too user hostile. The first smartphones we had with black and white screen, they were useless almost. But it was kind of a concept. And some people felt that this would be the future, but it wasn't there yet. Too expensive, too slow, too low capacity, too user unfriendly, and a long range of issues. And I feel that's where we are really with blockchain and crypto today. We're not at the point of the iPhone for crypto. We're not there yet. But I think we will come there in the future. And that's what makes it so exciting. And then one thing is radically different from the telecom or the internet, because I was early on internet and, the home computer and so on. at that time, even if you realize that, say, TCP/IP is going to become the future, or the mobile data protocols that we developed, RLC-MAC and all those protocols, if you realize that that will become the future, you couldn't invest in that. You have to go find a specific company that's operating in that industry and invest in that, but you couldn't invest in the protocols as such, even if you realize, okay, TCP/IP is going to be it. But then maybe you go and invest in pets.com or something, which goes bankrupt. You couldn't invest in the protocol. But with blockchain, you can invest in the protocols from day one, and that is different. That has never been the case before in technology, and that I feel is very interesting. But then I see a second parallel as well. So the first parallel being that it takes much longer than people expect. It takes decades. It doesn't take a few years. And the second parallel is like, okay, so which of these protocols is it going to be in the future? Is it Bitcoin forever? Or will Ethereum take over? Or will it be some other protocol that takes over both Ethereum and Bitcoin? Or is it something that's not even invented yet? That's something we debate a lot, right, in this industry. And no one knows for sure, right, what's going to happen. And what's interesting is that we had the exact same debate with the almost same words in telecom, because we branded it very cleverly. We called it like 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, right? So it feels like it's just an upgrade. But actually, they were completely different physical protocols.
Yeah.
And then the question is the installed base so sticky that the new protocol can never replace it? That's the question. Is it even possible to replace it? That's what we're talking about here. Like Bitcoin is so entrenched. It was the first. It's the most trusted. Everyone knows it. It can maybe never be replaced. That's a thesis. Or the same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum is so entrenched. Maybe it can never be replaced. Or can it? And we had the same debate there. And with crypto, it's only software. It's only software. You can always, it's just to download another app, right? Or another software on your computer. Right, it's only software. Remember with telecom, we had put physical hardware devices, say with 2G, we had put 1 billion physical devices in people's pockets. And we had built 1 million physical towers all over the world with the base stations. And then we're saying, okay, now we want to do another technology. And is that even possible? And of course, it was incredibly difficult. And the outcome became that actually 3G never became the biggest technology. It never became the biggest mobile technology. 2G was bigger than 3G, even though 3G was a radically better protocol. It was better in every sense.
Before its time.
Perhaps, maybe the demand wasn't there, but at the same time, it kind of was also. It was only when we did 4G, which was even better, more efficient, more capacity, faster, lower latency, high capacity, and so on, that 4G actually became the biggest technology in the world, taking over not from 3G, but from 2G.
Right.
So that's a learning that I've taken with me, that it is possible. It is possible to replace the incumbent, even if you put like hardware in 1 billion people's pocket and 1 million towers all over the world. It is still possible to replace it, but it's very difficult. And it's not enough to be better. You need to be 10 times, maybe 100 times better to overcome that obstacle, to overcome that resistance towards change. Only then is it possible. So my conclusion for crypto is that I think it's possible. But this journey in telecom, that was like a 20-year journey. And my guess is that something similar will happen, that what is eventually replacing these protocols is something that is so radically much better in some dimension, maybe in usability, maybe in adoption, maybe in capacity, maybe in speed, maybe in all of those. And then I think it's possible, but I'm not sure that we even have those protocols yet. But that's why I keep a more open mind. A lot of people are very sure what's going to happen. It's going to be Bitcoin forever.
For sure.
in 5,000 years it's still Bitcoin, and or Ethereum can never be replaced. I keep a much more open mind. I love Bitcoin, I love Ethereum, I love many of these protocols, but I'm not so sure that it's necessarily the pinnacle of human innovation and that it can never get better than that. I don't think so. I think I'm pro innovation. I'm pro human in capability of innovation, but it needs to be so much better in perhaps all of those dimensions before the mountain moves.
Right. You have two types of in the audience. There's two types of people right now. Number one is you just confirmed that XRP is going to take over Bitcoin. It's going to become a new money. and the second half want to ask about 5G and if it's really cancerous and it's really controlling the world right now. So I think you're the perfect person to ask about that. Now, jokes
because
aside,
during these times, it's to finish the parallel. It's not that we didn't try to improve the existing protocols. There were radical improvements over within the 2G protocol and within the 3G protocol. First, it was like plain 3G, and then came something called HSDPA for those of you who are old enough to remember. And it became radically faster. It became 10 times faster than within 3G. And the same thing is going to happen here. I mean, Ethereum is going to keep improving. But is it enough, or will they always be a little slower to improve because they have the weight? They feel the weight of the world financial system on their shoulders. If they introduce one bug and suddenly all the stable coins blow up, in a smart contract or something, it's not good. So they will be always careful, always slow, and so on. While someone who starts fresh don't have that problem. They can code away and hope for the best. And then at some point it's possible that someone else might catch up and build a better protocol. So I think these are the dynamics, and I think it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen here far out into the future. I mean, if we rewind only to 2019, how many of us would have predicted what happened the past couple of years here? First came COVID, and then the whole world went nuts, and there were lockdowns, and then came financial crisis, and there's recessions, and interest rates go nuts, and so on. Who would have predicted that? Not many, I think, and that's why. Yeah, sorry.
We were seeing that a lot of us were looking at the market saying it's going to go down. We could not predict 10 black swan events simultaneously. It's a chain reaction. It was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Exactly. So it's very difficult to make predictions, especially about the future, right? So that's why when taking all these conclusions and moving over, okay, so what if we want to speculate in this space? What if we want to gamble a little on the crypto casino? How to do that? And then my big belief is that it's better to try to react to what actually happens than to try to predict it. Because of all these things I said previously, I think it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen with any accuracy, while it's much easier to react to what actually happens and then take action. If we can have a thesis, we think this is going to happen, but then if we wake up tomorrow and it seems the world is going in a different direction, okay, I change my mind, I take another action, I react to what's actually happening. And I've found over these years I've been in this space that's easier. It's been more accurate rather than trying to predict the future.
You mentioned you were looking at AI and AR earlier on, and I just wanted to ask you, since you are into tech and you do understand it, there is a craze going right now for AI with cryptocurrency. Yeah. And my question is this: I do believe the hype is there. We talked about it on my channel that it's going to hype, and cryptocurrencies and AI. They're going to start adding on AI for marketing and trying to implement AI. But are we there? Can we actually implement AI in blockchain? I mean, I don't think it's possible.
I don't think that so many of the existing projects are there yet. It feels more that you add on a token to something and then you try to market it. And I'm not saying that's bad from a speculation perspective. It can be very profitable. And many of these tokens, they have gone up 50x already. So it's not bad from an investment perspective. But I'm not sure that this is where the technology leadership is at the moment. It's more that, maybe I just say it at that. I don't think we have the projects yet that will really leverage this technology, because AI is a world revolution on the same scale as blockchain, no doubt. I mean, no one can miss it when seeing the ChatGPT or something. If you interact with it a little while, you realize that this is incredible, and it will change the world in many ways. And I think what will happen is like this: it becomes another tool of leverage. So fewer people. I'm not saying that I want this to happen. I'm just saying that I think the world will go in that direction, that fewer people will be able to make even more money, because AI becomes another tool of leverage. Like capital is a tool of leverage, software is a tool of leverage, audience is a tool of leverage, and digitalization is a tool of leverage, where one person can suddenly reach a huge number of people and add value to a huge number of people and do business with a huge number of people. And AI will take things even one more step in that direction. While a lot of people today who kind of do, how should I say, basic white collar jobs, they go to office, they sit in a nice office, they have a good salary, and they're doing something kind of isolated, specific. They are in danger. Many of those people are going to be replaced by AI that can do it at almost zero cost. And what remains then is people higher up in the pyramid who can value, is this a good outcome? Is this a bad output? Who knows what good looks like? And there will be fewer of those who will make more money. Larger share of people at the bottom will find it difficult to find any way to add value as a white collar job, I think.
I think it will give birth to new jobs as well, though. It will give
for sure. Oh, absolutely. I think it's a huge opportunity. I'm just saying that I think it's critical to realize that this change is coming and not be complacent. If someone's sitting doing a data entry job or something like that, you need to realize that this is coming now. So don't just sit there, do something. Try to find another place in the value chain, another place in the pyramid, create a new job. Take this opportunity and jump straight to the top of some other value chain. Do something. Don't just sit there, because this change is coming, and it's not coming in 20 years. It's coming in June. This year maybe.
It's like the middle class getting destroyed. It's the middle jobs. I think I'll give an example here. In sales, for example, in marketing, the people that are in sales, the middle part is where AI can take over. Some people become master closers. They'll be doing negotiation. They'll probably sell the robots or sell the AI. But exactly. It's all the middle part that will get destroyed, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that's a good example, but that's usually what happens.
No, I think so. Absolutely. Yeah. Someone who's writing friendly emails, following up on some, that AI can probably do.
Exactly. And probably better. Even in the beginning stages. What cryptocurrency sectors do you see advancing, and how, for this upcoming bull run, or maybe the next few years?
Same thing, actually. I think it was quite difficult to predict the whole DeFi revolution, the NFT revolution that came in the previous sector, in the previous run. And yield farming and all that stuff. You could see it in the beginning, but no one really, or very few people saw it if we rewind 3 to 4 years back. So I'm not sure what will be the next narrative. It might be adoption. it might be that which we should track. What is actually being used by people? And that's what I'm going to latch on to. Then in terms of narrative, for sure, AI is going to come. If someone does some real projects that has potential to be generic use, that could be huge, of course. But the truth is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the next major trend will be beyond the, money and so on. But of course, almost every sector can in some way benefit from a distributed ledger technology. But beyond different forms of money, which is a huge use case in itself, and stablecoins is a huge use case. For example, people say we can't use Bitcoin for payments because it's too volatile. Yeah, and that is a problem, but we already have stablecoins now, which are not volatile, and they work too. So, and anyone, if you live, if you've ever tried to do anything on the internet, we talked about sales before. If someone has ever tried to sell something on the internet, people say, well, we already have payment systems. Oh, yeah, we do, right? But the best one is still PayPal, which was founded by Elon Musk and company, 23 years ago. That's still the best one today. And the website looks the same as it did 20 years ago. And when living here in Sweden, they charge 10%. They charge 10%. So if I'm sending you $200, or if you're sending, at least here in Sweden, if you're sending me $200,
you're 180.
PayPal going to take $20 out of that before it's in my Swedish bank account. If you send $2,000, PayPal is going to take $200 out of that transfer before it's in the bank account. And it's not a straight up fee, but they hide it in the exchange rates and so on and so forth.
They do. And I've noticed this.
So it costs $200 to send an international payment. Yeah. And that's still the best, except crypto. If you take crypto then, arrives immediately, costs almost nothing, global, can be used by everyone, and that is a huge use case. And maybe it will be payment. That will be the real use case. But I don't know. I'm pro all these projects. I'm not a maximalist. I'm pro innovation. I hope that one of these projects really bubble up and get billion users. That's what I hope and think will happen. And I'm not talking about only people say, we already have so and so many users of crypto. No, they are not using crypto. They have bought a coin on an exchange and tried to sell it at a higher price.
Yeah,
that is. I like that. I enjoy it. That's great. But that's not really using blockchain technology. Oh. It's on the exchanges, it isn't even blockchain technology. It's like a database. It's a relational database. They have a big crypto wallet where all the coins are. But when you're trading, you and I are trading against each other, that's not even using blockchain. That's a database. There's nothing crypto about it.
Well, a decentralized exchange like Uniswap would be, I guess.
Exactly. While Uniswap would definitely be truly decentralized, and that is an amazing achievement as such. That basically one person could build some software. Blockchain is almost the only industry right now where one person can sit and program something that can then go and compete with a company which has a centralized exchange which has thousands of employees and a huge momentum and actually be successful. And that's why I love this industry so much, that is still possible. A lone programmer in a basement somewhere can write something that actually goes and beats up $1 billion, 1,000 people company. And there's not many of those industries today. So I really love that.
I'm going to go back a little bit to Bitcoin. You mentioned that you don't know which one's going to be first. I think each protocol is taking a niche, a market niche. For example, Bitcoin is going for, well, always did go for sound money, hard money. And I don't think it's competing with anyone. It's just not. Basic economics show what Bitcoin's trying to do, yes? Or Austrian economics, should I say. Ethereum is doing the building part, the dApps and everything like this. You do have some Ethereum competitors, but they're doing their own niche. But I wanted to take this opportunity to segue into Bitcoin, but the charts of Bitcoin, because a lot of our viewers right now are wondering, yes, it's all great, but we have CTO Larson here. Let's look at charts. We can go back to everything else later.
Let's look at some charts. I'll try to share the screen here. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
That's great. So before we go into the Bitcoin chart, actually, let's address that question first, the one that you said previously.
Mm-hmm.
What about Ethereum and Bitcoin? Will they always be distinct? Like Bitcoin has one use case and Ethereum has another use case. Well, if we look at the history a little bit for Bitcoin and Ethereum, it has not been so many twists and turns on this since inception. There was an enormous belief that Ethereum is going to take over here, and Ethereum rode up here in spring 2017 to a point where it almost became the biggest cryptocurrency. And at that time, I think many people thought that Ethereum might take over the use case of Bitcoin also, that Ethereum is the smart contract platform, but it also can become money. And then that kind of didn't happen. The ICO bubble here burst. That was here in 2017. And then Ethereum got into a long slump here from 2018, 2019, and into 2020, where the hope was very much felt lost for Ethereum. So this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This chart we're looking at. It's Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So it's not measured in dollars. It's like, which one is the king? Is it Ethereum or is it Bitcoin? And Ethereum really almost became the king of crypto. And then it seemed like all hope was lost. And this was a huge retracement from the top for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And it at the bottom here in 2019 and 2020, it felt realistic, like Ethereum could almost go to zero, because there were some of those huge ICO projects here.
Yeah.
Money at that time was not Bitcoin. Money during the ICO era was Ethereum. If you wanted to buy something in an ICO, you didn't pay in Bitcoin normally. You had to pay in Ethereum. They were priced in Ethereum. So a lot of those projects received a lot of Ethereum, and then they didn't sell them or they sold them. Most of those projects were scams, but some solid projects came out also, like Binance, for example. But many of those projects at this point, they still held a lot of Ethereum, and it was very sensitive. If one of those big projects had sold also, then maybe the rest had sold also, and Ethereum could really have gone almost to zero here, because there were so big sell volumes left by those failing huge projects that sat with huge stacks of Ethereum. Then it didn't. It kind of barely survived. And then started the next trend, kind of revival for Ethereum. Then came DeFi, then came decentralized exchanges for real, then came NFTs, and a lot of speculative mania that followed. That happened a lot on the Ethereum side, which ran then from 2020, 2021 up to basically the peak here in December 2021. And that's really been the journey. But this time it did not come up to flip to become the biggest cryptocurrency. But how far is it? Where is the point, if you look in this chart, where Ethereum would become bigger than Bitcoin? And it is here. It's around at 0.16. So if Ethereum I'll make this a little thicker. If this chart goes up here, Ethereum would be bigger than Bitcoin in terms of market cap.
Yeah.
And if we just zoom out and look at the chart, that doesn't look impossible, right? If we distance ourselves from the narrative, we forget, we just treat these as tickers, like three-letter abbreviations. So we just look at the chart. If this consolidation area here, if that breaks on the upside, the target from this move would be way above that.
Yeah.
If we just look at the chart. And could that happen? Could this impossible thing happen in the crypto industry, that actually the number one coin isn't Bitcoin anymore, it's Ethereum? I based only on the chart,
but why would that change?
Looking.
Of course, but why would that change the narrative of Bitcoin being hard sound money and Ethereum is something different that could be used as money, yes, within the industry, but I don't think my point is that Ethereum has a different thing about building dApps and building and so on, but it doesn't go for money. I mean, it doesn't have a 21 million supply, for example. It doesn't. It's not proof of work. We want it to be rare. We want it to be hard. We want it to be. It actually needs to have. It actually needs to be expensive to produce. Yes, these are things that Bitcoin has.
Exactly. So I'm not saying anything against that. You might be right.
I love both, by the way.
But I'm also not sure. I'm also not sure. You know, today it is the king of crypto. If there suddenly comes another king, is it, you know, does the narrative change? I don't know. I don't know if it will. But I'm not so sure that it cannot change if this would happen. But just for clarity, we're not there yet. This chart has not broken out of the resistance area. It might never break out. I'm not predicting this breaking out. But if you look here at this consolidation area, if this breaks on the upside, if we wake up one day and this chart is suddenly closed up here,
you get into
all right. Then, you know, you take the height of this part here, you add it up, and you have a target up here.
Yeah.
And what will happen then to the crypto industry, the narrative, sound money, and so on? I don't know, but I will keep an open mind in that case. So this is one interesting chart and one interesting perspective. And as you can see here, there's been not so many big trends here. And if now it's not really trending, now it's kind of consolidating here in this rectangle. But if it really breaks out, that could get very interesting. Now let's switch gears and let's switch over to Bitcoin. Have we bottomed or not? Is the question on everyone's mind. And if we zoom out a little bit on this one as well, we can see here that this chart has been often trending for very long times. Like the trends here from 2020 up to 2021 was huge. The uptrends here before I joined in, say, 2016, 2015 were very long. I came in first time here sometime in spring 2017. Those trends were huge. Also, the downtrends were very long. This is 85%. Then there's a huge uptrend. Then it's a little bit consolidation. Then comes another huge uptrend. Then we could regard this whole area as a little bit of a consolidation. Then we had a downtrend that started in December 2021 that fell all the way down. You see here the blue area, which is then, the blue color, which in my system then represents downtrend. Except for a few days here in April, it was down all the way from December 2021 at price about 49,000. And then it has actually turned up now. So in my system and analysis, I would say that right now we're in an uptrend. And many people who they kind of discovered me during last year, during 2022, and they think that I was always bearish. But yeah, you know, we were in a downtrend. But now I'm not. Now I'm ultra bullish instead, because now we are actually in an uptrend.
Yeah.
And it was possible. We front ran this gold flip here a little bit, because I'm not sure if it's so visible, but if you look at the right side here, you can see volumes also. You can see that there were huge volumes here. So whales were loading up here when, you know, crypto Twitter went silent, all the retail had quit. Someone was buying, because look at this volume peak here on the side. Huge players were loading up here at 16,800. Then it broke that support resistance, broke the next support resistance, and when that one broke also, I bought here at 17,400, anticipating that this is going to shoot up, and it did. We got confirmation of that with a trend reversal to up here at 20,000. Then we moved up almost to the first resistance area, which is this point here at about 25,000, which comes from mid 2022. You can see here that was the highest point of that descending triangle. So price came almost there, but not exactly, but very close. So it's kind of expected that we get the reversal from this point. And what would be ideal here now? The ideal scenario would probably be that we retrace a bit here. We find support somewhere, maybe here, maybe somewhere in the between, and we turn back up. And then we actually create the inverse head and shoulders here. Let me, it's maybe not, I have a few different drawings, but if you see, here is the left shoulder, here becomes head. It would have been good if this one went all the way up. It didn't quite do that, but perhaps we still will. And if we then get a second right shoulder here and then break up, then it's ideal, and break up in an uptrend. Then we have a super clear bottom pattern, we have trend reversal. That would be very high confidence. Then I would go really big, maybe with leverage.
Maybe leverage, okay.
Not all in. I mean, a lot of trading success is really, it's not about, you know, predicting and analyze. It's really about execution and not getting in a position where one unlucky day you get blown out. You have to manage position sizing. You have to close losing trades early, hang on to the winners for a long time. That's really where the success is. So I would never go all in on anything, because, you know, maybe that's the day you get unlucky, and then it's over. You have to live another day no matter what happens. But I would really go big there. That would really be my ideal scenario here, and it would be really good if price comes little higher up here, maybe to 25,000 before you know, starting to go further down. But still, if we get this, that would look very good. So I'm very positive here. I think that based on what we know now, we might even get another chance to load up, and then who knows how far this can go. I am very positive. So, but if situation changes, I will change my mind. That is really what I tried to get to from the beginning here, that I have a reactive process. If things change, I'm going to change my mind. Then always someone comes back and says, yeah, but you said in that video 2 years ago this and this. Yeah, but that was that point. Then I changed my mind 4 times after that. And that's really my whole methodology. I will react to what happens here. And that way, try to stay on top of this and hopefully come out as a winner no matter what happens. So that's a quick analysis of the market,
the kings of
the strength of the altcoins, Bitcoin, and also the speculative nature of the beast.
So I'd have to ask here, I want to talk about XRP, ADA, and so on, but most importantly, I want to ask about the Larson line. How did you come up with it? How does it work? There's a lot of viewers. I have a lot of viewers asking me for technical analysis to teach them technical analysis. I'm not a teaching person, to be quite honest, when it comes to TA.
It's very simple. It is like this. Like one insight that I had with me from the previous technology years was that global technology almost always comes. It can only become two outcomes. Global technology can either become a giant success. Or it's nothing. There is very little in between. You cannot stay a small player in global technology. Then you go bankrupt, or you get bought, or somehow you disappear. While in many other industries that is possible, like the corner bakery here around the corner, they have been there for 100 years. They don't need to grow in real money value. They do the same thing. They can do the same thing for 100 years. You can't do that in technology, really. You either win or you lose. There is nothing in between. So then I realized that the cryptocurrencies, they're very much global technology. So then I know that it's either going to be this or it's going to be that. Then I don't need to worry so much about the details. I just need to hang on to the midsection of that trend, whichever direction it goes, because I know with almost certainty that's going to be a long trending midsection. And the challenge then becomes to actually stick to that plan. How do you stick to something? Because a lot of success in trading is about execution. It's not about planning, it's about execution. Then for me, I needed something clear that is telling me, I can't buy today even if I feel FOMO because Larson line is blue. I can't do it. I want it to be gold, but it's not. It's blue. So I have to wait. Or when you feel like blinding euphoria, you're feeling now we're going to 1 million for sure. And then it's blue. It's blue staring in your face and you have to rub your eyes and it's still blue. And that really helps a lot, at least for me, with trade execution. So it's kind of a way to boil everything down to something that you have to stick to. And it's a kind of a way to try to estimate the trend. But the secret isn't so much in the indicator. The indicator is quite simple, but it's really how to use it. That is, it's like the process of how to use this, which is, I think, maybe the innovation.
Hey, let me just jump in here real quick. I hope you are enjoying our interview with CTO Larson. This is actually the end of part 1. Now in part 2, we're going to be talking more about cryptocurrencies, XRP, ADA, and more. We're going to be talking more about the Larson line, and we're going to be talking about how you can succeed in life as an entrepreneur and cryptopreneur. Make sure you don't miss it. I'll leave it linked here, but if it's not there, don't worry. Just make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss it when it comes out.